What's going on, guys? Auzio here and welcome back to a brand new video, and welcome back to the series that we started in FIFA 21, and it's returning for FIFA 22, and it's going to be Team of the Week predictions. We have finally started our FIFA 22 content. We obviously took a little bit of a break when it came down to uploading videos onto YouTube, but we're back. Let's just put it that way. We are back. Now, the first Team of the Week, I must admit, is looking pretty good. There is some players in there that you would definitely like to slide into your team. Starting off with your boy Haaland. Now, we all know he went from an 84 rated last year to an 88 rated this year, and he could be already getting his first in form, scoring 2 goals against Union Berlin. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He didn't get an assist, but he got an 8.8 rating. Now, if you look at the stats, they are not official, but it's still an estimate, aka a prediction on what the stats could look like. Now, the thing about him, 3-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot. So I'm not sure how usable he will be in FIFA 22, but let's hope skill moves isn't the biggest of deals and people like Haaland are actually going to get used. But moving on to our other striker, a player that literally recently got transferred over to Inter Milan, and it is going to be your boy Dzeko. Now, the thing about Dzeko is the fact that he actually got subbed on in this game. He got subbed on and he went ahead and scored 2 goals and got himself an 8.7 rating. Now, the thing is, right, when you get that high of a rating as a super sub, you know you really did perform in that game, because coming on as a super sub and getting a good rating, it's not unheard of, but it isn't very common, let's say. But yeah, as you clearly can see, Inter Milan did end up winning 6-1 against Bologna. They had an amazing game. How usable will Dzeko be in FIFA 22? Pace, you can clearly see, is an issue, but it looks like the shooting ability would definitely be up there. Now, moving on to Tony, my boy Tony, the player that plays for Brentford, and I must admit, after watching him for a few games now, he has really impressed me. He is one of those players that I honestly can't see actually staying at Brentford. He will most likely move to like a top 8 team, let's say. But Brentford ended up winning the game 2-0 against Wolves. Wolves not having the greatest of starts right now. He ended up getting himself a goal, an assist, and a 9.1 rating. Not looking like an outrageously good card, but he definitely deserves the inform. Moving on to our other striker, we have got Hwang Yu-Jo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If it's wrong, I'm sorry, but we move on. He ended up scoring the only 2 goals his team actually ended up scoring, and ended up winning the game 2-1. So he was literally the reason they ended up winning the game. He ended on a 9.0 rating. Links with him isn't going to be anything amazing. Like, yeah, you can link him up with your boy Son, but let's all be fair, I doubt he's going to be getting used. But once again, he deserves the inform, so he most likely will be in there. So moving away from the strikers now and moving on to the wingers, we are going to see Sarr up first, having an amazing performance against Norwich, scoring himself 2 goals and a 9.1 rating. Now, the thing is, you're probably noticing a little bit different if we're comparing this inform right here to this inform, and it is something different. EA have announced that they're going to be doing something different for FIFA 22 Team of the Weeks, where they're going to be giving players additional boosts. So pretty much they're going to be selecting a certain player each week that is 80 rated and below, and pretty much skipping their first inform and bringing them straight over to their second inform rating. And that is something I personally believe will happen to Sarr, because look at the stats on the card. If the stats are anything near what I'm showing you guys right now, bro, we are in for a treat. And you best believe he's probably going to go for like 100k plus, maybe even like 200k plus. So if you end up getting lucky and actually packing him, you've got yourself, one, a solid player, but you also are making a lot of coins. So yeah, for me personally, I feel like Sarr is going to get that additional boost. Moving on to another winger, we are going to see Neres, a player that had that showdown card in FIFA 21 and was simply amazing. His movement, his dribbling, his pace was literally so enjoyable to use. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Ajax ended up winning their game 9-0. 9-0, and Neres ended up scoring himself 2 goals, a single assist, and a 9.4 rating. Now, this is the thing, right? When a team wins that big, let's say, EA may go ahead and give them 2 informs, and the other player would actually be Timber. And yes, you are looking at a centre-back that could possibly have 89 pace. Pace this year for centre-backs, you can tell, have been boosted a decent amount. I think Klosterman's got like 85. I saw St. Just has got like 91. I don't know what's happening, but I don't mind it. I really don't. If you're going to give centre-backs this amount of pace, I'm going to be happy. Simple as that. But yeah, the centre-back ended up getting himself a goal and a 9.0 rating. If they don't give out 2 informs for Ajax. Who would we prefer? We probably would prefer David Neres, but at the same time, I really wouldn't mind if it's Timber, because the links, being Dutch, we all know is going to be amazing, and the pace, we all know is going to be effective. But moving on to another winger, and it's going to be Leon Bailey. He had a game and a half. He literally got subbed on, scored himself a goal, and scored himself another goal, let's say. It was pretty much he took the corner and it got flicked on by Digne and it ended up in the back of the net. So a lot of people are claiming that he rather got the assist or he got the goal for it, but it didn't come down as the stats. So he got himself a single goal with a 7.2 rating, and he actually got subbed off after being injured. So he had an amazing game, but at the same time he got used as a super sub and he ended up getting subbed off as well because he was injured. It was a complicated game for Leon Bailey. Let's just put it that way. He looks like an amazing card though, with his 95 pace, 86 dribbling, and his 80 shooting. Definitely a player. If he gets this in form, I can see getting used at the start of FIFA 22. Heading over to another winger, which we all know will get used if anyone ends up packing him. It is going to be your boy Vinicius, getting himself a goal, an assist, and an 8.6 rating. A player that was involved with both of the goals, but he isn't the only player in Real Madrid that had an amazing performance. It was also Benzema, scoring himself a goal, an assist, and also getting himself the exact same rating as Vinicius. Now, I don't think both of them will be getting an inform. It will literally be one or the other. Now, if I had to choose, you best believe I'm going for Vinicius because of those 5-star skill moves, because of that pace, and because of that dribbling ability. But yeah, one of them, for me personally, will be getting that team of the week. But heading over to another winger, as you clearly can tell, we have got a lot of wingers, and wingers having a lot of pace as well. This guy's got 94 pace, his name is Luis Diaz, and he's got himself 2 goals and an 8.8 rating in the game for Porto. Porto ended up winning 5-0, just an all-round amazing performance from the Portuguese team, and he's not looking too bad of a card. The links isn't, you know, top tier, let's say, but if you are trying to figure out how to build like a Liga NOS team, especially with some of the centre backs they actually have with a lot of pace now, you can end up using Luis Diaz in your team. So finally, moving on to our midfielders now, we are going to see Wirtz up first, getting himself a goal, getting himself an assist, and also getting himself an 8.5 rating. Bayer Leverkusen ended up winning the game 3-1, an amazing performance all round. And Wirtz's inform stats, if those are near the stats that he would actually end up getting, he's looking like an okay card. You know what I mean? Like, the dribbling looks good. Everything else there doesn't look crazy. Like, it looks quite average. If you're sitting there trying to build like a cheap Bundesliga team at the start of FIFA 22, Wirtz could low-key be your go-to cam. But other than that, I can't see him getting used very often. But moving on to another midfielder, we are going to see Bonaventura getting himself a goal, an assist, and an 8.7 rating, being involved in both of Florentina goals versus Genoa, and he's looking like an all-rounded centre mid. I must admit, like, the dribbling looks good, the passing looks good, the defending ability looks quite okay, and if you're trying to build like a Serie A starter team, he could low-key be your go-to centre mid. Now, how much would he actually go for if he ends up getting this in form? That could be a whole different, you know, answer, let's say, because I feel like people will see those kind of all-rounded stats and they'll probably make him like 40,000 coins. So he won't be cheap, but he may be actually worth it. Either way though, he deserves the inform, and I'm hoping he actually ends up getting it. Now, moving on to a familiar face, and we are going to see your boy Kimmich, a player that I used in FIFA 21 when it came down to his Team of the Year card for 1,000 games. He was my go-to midfielder for so long. It was stupid. It was his shooting ability, his defending ability, his fight to get the ball back every single time. It reminded me of that Team of the Year N'Golo Kante we had a few years ago. Either way though, he could be getting himself his first in form in FIFA 22, getting himself 2 goals and ending on a 9.2 rating in a 7-0 victory. Bayern going absolutely crazy, and I can see Kimmich getting that in form simply because he is a midfielder scoring 2 goals, and we all know that doesn't happen very regularly. His stats, they look top tier. Yeah, the pace is nothing amazing, but listen, we can definitely deal with not having such great pace in the midfield right at the start of FIFA. I don't feel like that's going to be that big of a deal. But yeah, getting his first in form already, you already know I'm going to be happy about that. But moving on to another player that could end up actually getting it is Sane. Now, once again, it's the same situation as Ajax, where the game ended at such a high score that they could be giving out 2 informs. Sane getting himself a goal, an assist, and an 8.6 rating could definitely be a favourite, let's say, of getting that inform, but I still feel like Kimmich is most likely going to get it. Well, we wouldn't mind. We really wouldn't mind if it's Sane, because if he gets those kind of stats, I will be happy with it. A majority will be happy with it, and you'll probably be seeing Sane in a lot of people's teams right at the start. Yes, he's going to be expensive, but you never know what you can end up packing. You end up packing like an outrageously good player, selling him, and getting this man right here. But moving on to defenders now, we are going to see Virgil van Dijk. He didn't have an amazing season last year simply because he was injured, but he's back and he could be getting himself his first in form. Liverpool ended up winning the game 3-0 against Crystal Palace. He ended up getting himself that assist and ended up getting himself an 8.3 rating as well. Defending wise, we all know he's going to be an absolute beast. He's 6'4". We all know that tackle reach is going to be crazy, crazy good. But the thing is, pace could be a little bit of an issue. With players like Klosterman having like 85 pace, players like St. Just having 91 pace on their base card, would you really go for a Virgil van Dijk that could have 80 pace? And you look at 80 pace, but it is misleading because his sprint speed is very high, but I know his acceleration is very low. So is it going to be a go-to? Maybe. The thing is, I'm not 100% how important pace is going to be in that centre-back position in FIFA 22. So it's like, it could be very important, or it could be not so important. And Virgil van Dijk could be very, very usable. Either way, all-round amazing performance, and I would love to see him be in the first team of the week for FIFA 22. Moving on to another centre-back from the Premier League, and it is going to be Thiago Silva, getting himself a goal. It was a pretty good goal as well. He out-headed Dele Alli. It was right in the corner. Perfect finish either way. And I did actually watch this game, and for me, Chelsea could have ended up winning 6-0. Easily 6-0. Like, Lukaku literally played in Timo Werner, he played in so many players on a one-on-one, and they ended up just scoring the opportunity every single time. So yeah, for me, I feel like Chelsea should have won this game 6-0. It is what it is. We move on. He got himself a goal and an 8.7 rating. Looking like an absolute solid centre-back, apart from the pace once again. So finally, moving on to our goalkeepers now, we are going to see David De Gea. Even though he didn't put out a lot of saves in the game and only got himself an 8.0 rating, he made the most important save in the entire game. And it was going to be that penalty right at the end to make Manchester United win their game 2-1. Literally 93rd minute. David De Gea hasn't saved a penalty for God knows how long. And he ends up just casually pulling it out. Things you literally love to see. But starting off with an informed David De Gea in FIFA 22 is something I wouldn't mind. And if EA don't give it to him after that save, a disappointment will be at an all-time high. But moving on to our other goalkeeper, we are going to have Mohr. I believe that's how you pronounce it. There was no goal in the game at all, but he was the reason. He pulled out 4 saves and got himself a 9.1 rating, while also getting himself a penalty save as well. 2 keepers that pulled out penalty saves that made his team draw/win the game. They deserve it. It's simple as that. They deserve themselves the inform. But that is going to be it for Team of the Week 1 prediction. The Team of the Week is looking very promising. Now, how many of these players are actually going to get it? It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough because we have players like Vinicius, David De Gea, we have players like Kimmich, we have players like Bailey, Leon Bailey, we have Neres, Saar. There's so many good players I can end up getting, and I'm hoping EA make the first Team of the Week in FIFA 22 absolutely solid. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment. But for now, peace.